It is my great pleasure and privilege to welcome you all to the International Lecture Series on Vastuvidya, conducted by KANTALOOR Shala, an institute totally dedicated for higher learning and research in ancient Indian wisdom. This lecture is divided into two phases. Today we have the phase 1, and the topic for discussion is the importance of universal knowledge with reference to KANTALOOR temple. The phase 2 of the lecture will be about KANTALOOR Shala, and it will be held on 11th June 2022. So let us start the session with the Vedic invocation by the Vedic students of a great scholar Mullamangalam Narayana Namboodiripad.
Om Swasti Namini Damasavina Bhagat Swasti Devyadidiranarpana Swasti Bhusha Asuro Dadhatuna Swasti Dyava Prathivi Suchetuna Swastaye Vayumupabhrava Mahai Swasti Bhuvanasya Yaspati Brihaspatiam Darbhaganam Swastaye Swastaya Adityaso Bhavantuna Vishve Devana Adya Swastaye Vaishvanaro Vasuragri Swastaye Deva Avantaprabhava Swastaye Swasti no Rudra Patavam Hasa Swasti Mitra Varuna Swasti Pathye Revati Swasti na Indrascha Agnischa Swasti no Adite Grudhi Swasti Bantha Manujare Masudya Chandramasa Viva Punardadata Ghnata Janata Sangame Mahi.
Today we have with us a legend in Vastuvidya, Brahmasree Kanippayyur Krishnan Namboodiripad. The Vastuvidya Kulapati, the Dean of Sthapatya Veda Maharshi Mahesh Yogi Vedic University in Netherlands. We are really honored with his gracious presence. In fact, he is the household name in the state of Kerala. With a great honor and respect, we welcome you, sir. We have with us yet another scholar of international repute as a special guest, Dr. N.P. Unni, the former Vice Chancellor of Sri Shankara University of Sanskrit Kaladi. With a great pride and honor, let me welcome you, sir. Today's session is chaired by Professor P.C. Murli Madhavan, the Director-in-Chief of KANTALOOR Shala, a great scholar of international repute and recipient of Rashtrapati Puraskar. Let me welcome our beloved director and looking forward to hear your words of wisdom. I am delighted to welcome Sri Edamana Narayana Poti, an illustrious Vedic scholar and the president of KANTALOOR Sabha, who is concluding today's session with his remarks. With the great love and respect, let me welcome Sri Narayana Poti. Let me also welcome Lieutenant Dr. Lisha Sia, the Assistant Professor, Department of Sanskrit, Sri Shankara University of Sanskrit Kaladi, who will be presenting citation to our beloved distinguished guest, Brahmasree Kanippayyur Krishnan Namboodiripad. Let me also welcome all the participants, scholars, professors, students, and trustees and members of the KANTALOOR Sabha and Shala for a wonderful and fascinating evening. Now, with a great love and respect, let me invite Dr. P.C. Murli Madhavan to chair the Director-in-Chief of the KANTALOOR Shala, to chair the session and also to deliver the presidential address.
Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Pada Shankaram Loka Shankaram. The chief guest of the day, Professor N.P. Unni, the former Vice Chancellor and international scholar of high repute, and who is the inspiration behind all the academic activities of KANTALOOR Shala. The learned speaker of today, the international lecture going to be delivered, Brahmasree Kanippayyur Krishnan Namboodiripad, who needs no introduction, who is a legend in its every spirit of its letter, and a great scholar in several disciplines, not only Vastuvidya, several disciplines, and a scholar who is honored throughout the globe in various universities abroad. He is connected with several universities in India and also abroad. And he is the advisor, the academic leader of several academic activities in India and also outside India. We are very happy that the KANTALOOR Shala could arrange an international lecture by him in 2 phases, as Dr. Jyoti has himself told. The first one on KANTALOOR temple and the next one is KANTALOOR Shala. Both are associated so much and put in one, 2 in 1. And this first topic will be, which he will be going to deliver today, is the KANTALOOR temple. So I welcome from my side also, as the director of the KANTALOOR Shala, Brahmasree Kanippayyur Krishnan Namboodiripad, for his learned speech. Today, the citation will be presented by Lieutenant Srimati C.R. Lisha, who is my colleague in the Shankaracharya University and who is an efficient teacher and a recognized lieutenant officer of NCC and a very good Sanskrit teacher. I welcome Lisha also to this great academic event. Dr. Jyoti, who is behind the success of all these activities of KANTALOOR Shala, the trustee of KANTALOOR Sabha, Sri Narayanan Poti, who is a renowned Vedic scholar and who is our leader, who is our champion of KANTALOOR Sabha, the chairman of the trustees, the other members of KANTALOOR Shala and KANTALOOR Sabha, the learned scholars on the platform of KANTALOOR Shala today to witness the academic event. I welcome and I express my pranams to everyone. As you know, the galloping progress of science and technology, which plundered the natural treasures, has threatened the very existence of man on the planet Earth. The legacy of the past of thousands of years, which has been codified in the ancient texts, Vedic scriptures and Upanishads and other classical texts, and also in literary texts, is becoming more and more relevant today. We always like to know about our past. If we have any problems, we are interested in knowing whether there were any such problems in the past and how were they solved and so on. Today, problems created by the imbalanced relation of man and nature are highly or actually frightening the humanity as a whole. The tremendous increase in population, rapid industrialization, destruction of forests, violence of weaker sections and sex, greediness for, above all, greediness for achieving more and more material pleasures, and addiction, above all, addiction to drugs, are some of the important radical reasons for the loss of equilibrium in the environment. In this context, as I told you earlier, we look behind, we search in our shastras whether there are any remedies for such problems which the humanity faces as a whole. And the Sanskrit language and the text written not only in Vastuvidya, in several disciplines, we can come across remedies for most of the problems which the humanity faces in these modern times. That's why Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, in his discovery of India, he said, I quote, "If I was asked what is the greatest treasure which India possesses and what is her richest heritage, I would answer unhesitatingly, it is the Sanskrit language and literature and all that it contains." This is the summum bonum of this, what I have told. It would, so there is a significant, this is a significant heritage, and as long as the this endeavors and influences the life of our people, as long as the basic of India will continue, unquote, I unquote. The knowledge of Sanskrit, and through it, a knowledge of our entire intellectual heritage, is essential for an enlightened understanding of our modern technological age. It may be noted that Sanskrit is today taught and learned in many of the foreign universities, including those in the United States and also in countries like Federal Republic of Germany, not as a mere language, as a language which can impart ancient scientific wisdom of the past of India. The contributions of Sanskrit to the various branches of mathematics are admittedly of great significance. The decimal place value system, together with the zero, was perfected in India centuries ago. The earliest available record of the use of zero is seen in Pingala's Chanda Sutras, that is around about Christian BC 200. Modern scientists like Laplace and Einstein have praised India's contribution to mathematics sky high. Laplace has said, it is wonderful how he says, how his statement, how grateful we should be to Hindus. Hindus means Indians, who found this great decimal system, which does not occur to the minds of such mighty mathematicians as Archimedes and Apollonius. So Albert Einstein has observed, we owe a lot to Indians who taught us how to count, without which no worthwhile scientific discovery could have been made. I unquote. Well, it is now widely known and also accepted that Sanskrit is a treasure house of knowledge, not only in literature and philosophy, but also in various branches of science and technology, including basic sciences. biological sciences, physical sciences, engineering, architecture, astronomy, medicine, metallurgy, and the like. It appears that a lot of information and scientific knowledge are still lying buried in Sanskrit literature. There is a strong case to bring together modern scientists and traditional Sanskrit scholars with a view to identifying explicitly and implicitly the scientific contents like that lying embedded in Vedic and such classical texts, and putting them to use for the further development of modern society and technology. The recent success of the Indian Institute of Technology, Kanpur, in transcending the language barrier by Anusaraka, a language translator, particularly among the languages that follows the basic rules of Sanskrit, mainly Panini, is praiseworthy and an eye-opener to all. Actually, what is science and what is technology? This question always comes. The word science is in Latin means knowledge. Science has to be understood in its original meaning of knowledge. And as such, it must include knowledge of both the outer nature and man's own inner nature, his own inner nature. This is the only antidote to the maladies afflicting mankind today. So while science is the way of thinking, actually, when you say the science is the way of thinking, observing and experimenting, technology is its offspring. In other words, we can say in a better way that the science knows and the technology does. Today, when we talk about the science, it includes or it also includes technology. Hence, we say that this is the age of science and technology. In Sanskrit, here today, the main aspect which are going to be spoken by the great international reputed scholar, the great Acharya Kulapati, as Dr. Pradeep has told, Vastuvidya, Krishnan Namboodiripad, is mainly, he may be talking much about Vastuvidya. In Sanskrit, Vastu means the place where gods, men, and others being reside. Vasadi iti Vastu. And Vidya means knowledge. Thus, Vastu Vidya means knowledge of residing places, which includes construction and allied matters, that which make possible for a comfortable living. Thus, the term Vastu Vidya or Vastu Shastra can be translated as the science of building construction or building technology. It deals with town planning, building construction, making of furniture and vehicles, etc. Every vastu have its own vastu. That's the thing. If it is a matter, if it is a vastu, it has its own vastu. So everything in the world, as per Vastu Shastra, possesses its vastu. It is well accepted that Vastu Vidya is the traditional science of India for all constructions. The references of this science can be traced out even from earliest literature called Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, and Atharvaveda. The classical texts on Vastu, namely Manasara, Mayamata, Manushyalaya Chandrika, Samarangana Sutradhara, etc., are not fully independent texts, and they have borrowed much each other, and mostly they are indebted to earlier literature called Sthapatya Veda. We could not trace out a work titled Sthapatya Veda, But we know there is a text called as Sthapatya Veda, like a Dhanu Veda, Gandharva Veda, like that. That is an Upaveda, and that book is available, but that book in physical form we could not get it. Some portions, some quotations, and some forms we got it. So the central theme and arrangement of topics, methods of description, order of chapters, etc., are almost similar in these texts. The later Puranic literature, like Vishnu Dharmottara Purana and several other Puranas and several other classical literary works, are what we call pregnant with plenty of information about Vastu Shastra. I think I am a poor man in that field. I am a layman. I have no competency to speak in front of our great Kanippayyur Krishnan Namboodiripad. He will be talking authentically, and each word will be an authentic one in this matter. So I beg to remain. Since I am the chair of the session, I have to speak something and give an initiation and introduction to the subject, and what is the relevance of our old sciences, old shastras, and among shastras, what is the most relevance of Vastuvidya to the present, to face the problems in the present society, in the imbalance of the society, the environment. All these things will be dealt with by our great guest of the day, by Brahmasree Kanippayyur Krishnan Namboodiripad. With these few observations, I beg to remain. I welcome Sri Kanippayyur Krishnan Namboodiripad for his scholarly speech. Thank you. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you.
Thank you
for beautifully setting the platform for the guest speaker. Thank you very much. With a great pride and honor, let me invite our chief guest, Brahmasree Kanippayyur Krishnan Namboodiripad, to deliver the international lecture on Vastuvidya. Let me now highlight some of his major contributions in Vastuvidya across the globe. He designed temples, ashrams, many factories, many building structures in many countries across the world. He is also the chief designer and architect of say Guruvayurappan temples in Houston, Texas, and Dallas, Sri Ganesha temple in Dallas, in Sri Ayyappa temple in Florida, Sri Krishna temple in New Jersey in USA. He also designed an ashramam in Austria, Ayyappa temple in Botswana, Pretoria in South Africa, and also a Vastu consultant for Ayyappa temple in Johor, Malaysia, which is one of the best Ayyappa temple I have ever seen. Vastu consultant for many prestigious buildings in Dubai and many business group in Abu Dhabi, UAE and Muscat and Oman. He is also a Vastu consultant for several prestigious buildings in Thailand, Singapore, and many buildings in several European countries, including Belgium, Germany, Italy, and all. Vastu consultant for an Ayurvedic hospital in Czech Republic, which was one of the best Ayurvedic hospital. And he is also a Vastu consultant for many buildings in Africa and also in Nairobi, Kenya. I think it's traveled across the world, bringing our traditional Vastuvidya to the different places. Coming back to India, he designed ashram in Uttarakashi for the Maharshi Mahesh Yogi Foundation. He has also designed and supervised the construction of Sri Ayyappa temples at Arkepuram, New Delhi. Rohini also in New Delhi, Bhilai, Bhopal, Nagpur, Ankleshwar, Bhuj, Gandhigam, Varavel, Vapi, and Baroda in Gujarat, Nigadi in Pune, and Daman Diu, and Ponda in Goa, Billari, Hooghly, Karwar in Karnataka, Hyderabad in Telangana, and also in Visakhapatnam in Andhra Pradesh. He was also a Vastu consultant to the former Indian presidency, Sangadayal Sharma. He is also a Vastu consultant for the Punnu Guruvayurappan temple at the Dombivli and Matunga in Bombay, Bangur Nagar and Vasai Road again in Mumbai, and Vartak Nagar in Thane. He designed Sri Guruvayurappan Balaji temple in Calcutta, the east side of India, provided Vastu consultant for construction and modification of several hotels in Calcutta. He is also a Vastu consultant to the many business houses like Imami group of companies and many business houses in eastern region. He also designed a Guruvayur temple at Tata Nagar, Jamshedpur. He's also designed another Guruvayurappan temple in Mahalingapuram, Chennai, and supervised many temples in Nungampangam, Chennai. In 1970, which is the first Ayyappa temple outside Kerala constructed in a traditional Kerala style. He's also a Vastu consultant for the Ayyappa temples in Annanagar, Ambattur, Chengalpet in Chennai, Kukki Subramanya temple in Mangalore, which is one of the best Subramanya temple in India, and Sri Mahadeva temple at Udupi, Karnataka. He is also a Vastu consultant to Indian Express Business Group of Publications in Chennai, Atul Business Group, Mehwani Group in Gujarat, and Apollo Hospital for their projects in Hyderabad, Ahmedabad, and also at New Delhi. And one of the famous projects he carried out is the Cochin International Airport Limited for the Nedumbasseri Air Project. In addition to the providing his expertise in the construction of airport terminals and other buildings, he also offered advice on operational aspects like takeoff and landing of the aircraft based on the nature and the direction of airflow in the locality. He is also a Vastu consultant to the Ayyappa temple at Sabarimala, and he is the final authority for the Cochin Devasam Board, Travancore Devasam Board, Guruvayur Devasam, Sri Padmanabha Swami Temple, Thiruvananthapuram, in all matters relating to Vastu and the construction of temples. He is also a consultant to the several churches in Pathanamthitta, Kottayam, and Thrissur districts, including the Pudupalli Church at Kottayam. He is also provide Vastu advice with regard to the design and construction of mosque in Kerala. Such is the persona and stature of today's chief guest, Brahmasree Kanippayyur Krishnan Namboodiripad. In the field of Vastu, people who meet him feel privileged to have had an opportunity. We are very grateful to invite him to deliver the international lecture on Vastuvidya. Over to most beloved Brahmasree Kanippayyur Krishnan Namboodiripad.
Thank you. Thank you. First, Abhivadiye Krishna Sarmanama Ahamasmi Bhavo. Gungurubhyo Nama, Ganganapataya Nama, Om Devebhyo Nama, Maharshibhyo Nama, and Pitrubhyo Nama. And whatever the dignitaries of nine is expressed by Pradeep Jyoti. Anyhow, these are all due to my gurus and my forefathers. And I am very happy that also this family tradition is continuing with my family members, whether I am only, but also the other people, other members also. Anyhow, today, as Murali Madhavan said about that noted, reside. That is correct. Reside, not the human beings only, but also we have to reside the devas. So we have to reside not only devas, but also the Vishwam, the universe itself. That is the basic principle of the Vastuvidya also. Because it is also revealed as it is coming from the Brahma, as are the Vedas. Now here we are continuing to consider the Kantalur temple and the Kantalur Sabha. Actually, it is the two ends of a axis or bow or arrow, whatever may be, connecting between the Vishwam, the universe, that we can say. Therefore, very much interconnected by, for the existence of the Vishwam as the temple and the concerned the Shala, that is a knowledge city. Therefore, here we can say the Kantalur temple and Kantalur Sabha are the main source. Not only that temple, but also some other temples also, or all the temples also concerned to some extent, keeping the same thing. Therefore, now I am coming to the Kantalur temple first. And from the temple, as he said, next session we can come to the Shala also. Now, for the basic principle of the temples are the Vishwam or the universe, how we can connect with the Devas. For which now, first we can study the Kantalur temple itself. What is the basic principle of the temple? That is, here you can see the temple floor plan. And now you can see the temple complex. First, we
Yes.
are coming to see the Gopurams. The principle is Gopuram will be the just in front of the Devas. Actually, here, if we can have 3 Gopurams, east and 3 Gopurams, west, and one each in the south and north, that is the principle. And then that is up to the Shivelipara. But first Pradakshina Vali. I think here there is no Shivelipara, but in Padmaswami Kshetra it is having. Therefore, up to the Shivelipara, we will consider as the 5th Pragara of the Prasada. And then we come enter to the Pradakshina Vali or Shivelipara, we will see the lamp, the Valakumadam or Deepamala, which is actually called the 3rd Pragara. Shivelipara is the 4th and compound or Gopurams are 5th. That is the order of the each compound wall or each region, or we can say region, inside the region. And then you can see the front hall, Agrasabha, and the 3 sides Chuttambalam, and also the Mandapams. That is the 2nd one Pragara, and then the vehicles, that is the 1st Pragara. And here is the first region, we can say, from compound wall to the Prasada is called the Stula Sarira or the material body. That is the principle. First is the material body, which is up to the Prasada. And then inside that is the Sukshma Sarira or the sharpness body will be the Prasada. And in that Prasada, you will find the Bimba or the statue or Pratima, whatever may be. That is the 3rd Sharira, and it is called Karana Sharira or the astral body. And inside is the Paramatma where we will worship. Therefore, this is the order of these temple complexes. Main principle. Here there are 3 Devas also. Then also the same principle is kept. Only the thing is that outer Pragaras are in the common. Only the Mandap and the vehicles, only the each and everywhere will be having. Now, what is this one? I can more explain or clear by showing this coconut one. What is the outer fiber is called the Stula Sarira. And then the shell of the coconut will be the Sukshma Sharira. And then inside the fruit is the Karana Sharira. And inside fruit, whatever the extract, or the we can say ojas, or like that, that is the Bimba and the Paramatma. That is the order of the, to clear about the from this coconut. And now, what helps in the other texts? We can see here the words Agaro Vishnu Ruddhishta, Ugarastu Maheshwara, Magarastu Smruto Brahma, Pranavastu Trayatmaka. This is the main source of knowledge. And from this, what happens? It is Trayatmaka, that is Om, the Vishwa, the universe, contains the Paramatma as a whole. And in which, what are there? There are the Dhyuloka or the Swarloka, and then the Antariksha Loka or the Bhuvarloka, and continuing the Prithvi Loka or the Bhuloka. That is the usual principle of the continuation of energy. In which another thing is that in which the two sutras in Rigveda 5.3.23 Traya Krinnuvanti and 2.2.35 Trimurdhanam Tapparasmi. These two sutras explain there is three lokas. There is three lokas contains or exists sun, air or Indra, and then Agni, respectively. That is usual energies or whatever may be the power. That is the three lokas system. And also, it is explaining there are three kiranams or three rashmis in the sun, but not only sun, but also there is to some extent there are 7 grahas. You know, mainly it is considered as sun and moon because the daytime is sun and night time is moon. So that is mainly considered as 2 rashmis in which produces 7 kiranams or 7 rashmis. That will be changed to when it is reaches to Bhuvarloka as 7 pranas or Sapta pranas. And then it comes to Bhuloka as Agni or the 7 Jihva, that is tongue. That is the order of that one. In the second sutta, it is saying there are 21 because of this 3 into 7. Therefore, 21 energies are there in total. That is in the Om, that is Vishwam, universe contains 21 energies. It is cleared in 2 manners. One is the approach of all is getting from the Akash, where the sun is there. The main source is sun, and then it is continuing to divert to Bhurloka, Akash, Bhurloka and Bhuloka. There is 3 lokas. Therefore, 3 plus 1 is the total energies. Otherwise, that energy of the sun cannot be distributed. One is the transmitting area, and then Bhuloka is the receiving area. And then it will say there are 12 Adityas. Therefore, 12 plus 4, 16. And then it is explaining Ritus. They counted only 5 Ritus because Hemanta and Sisira are in to some identical, therefore is considered only 1. Therefore, totally is 21 in number. And this 21 number is also clearing as another way, that is the sun or the Swarloka contains actually only 1 power, because actually it is, there is Manobuddhi, Ahankara, Chitta or Prana like that 4. But here as concerned it is only 1, and then that is converted to Bhuvarloka as 5 Panchabhutas, 5 Tanmatras, that is in Bhuvarloka, and then in the Bhuloka is Jnanendriya and Karmendriya 5 each. Therefore, totally 5 into 4, 20 plus 1, 21. And this is the approach of that 3, the total. And this is also considered in Yajurveda 34-55, Saptarishaya, like that consists of etc., where it is saying the 7 rishis are skin, ear, eye, tongue, nose, mind, and intellect. That is, the 7 rishis are, those also concerned the body. That is, I have explained first body. And Sapta Pranas is also 7 rishis. And also, the first sutra of Atharva Veda says, Ye Sri Sapta Pariyanti Vishwani Ruvani Vidraga. That means, to extent that explains 21 ingredients of the power which is rotating in the body as well as in the Vishwa or universe. That is, 21 is here also very important. Similarly, Purusha Sukta also saying Saptasyasam Paridayas Tri Sapta Samidakrita. That is also 21. Therefore, totally we can have 21 in number. That is very important, which consists of the Paramatma, and therefore inside the power. That is the usual approach. And now what happens in this order, that is here if you consider that in Swarloka, even though it is sun, that is considered as the Agaro Vishnu Rudhishta. In that, Vishnu is the main power, which is considered as the wheel is connected by axis. One axis is connected by Vishnu and Lakshmi. So that what happens? That is only the 2 ends of the axis. Axis, when comes the Maheshwara. Maheshwara is also like that, the second axis. Maheshwara means to some extent Mohini with Maheshwara, or we can say Ardhanarishwara. That is second one. Third one, in the earth or in the Prithvi, there are Brahma and Saraswati. Then only after that the continuation that becomes the Parameshwara and Sri Parvati. That is one Chit and Anandam, or we can say to some extent Anna and Ratas. How this Anna and Ras? Because the 4th one is the generation, or the Prithvi give birth to plants and trees and herbs, and whatever seen in the Prithvi, all are not movable, immovable particles. That will give the Anna, and that Anna will change to the Ratas. Therefore, here is the 4th is Parameshwara and Sri Parvati, from which the 5th is giving the birth. That is our all these human beings, animals, or all the living organisms those who can move or fly or run or whatever may be. That is the order of, therefore, to some extent, we are all the fifth generation. There is a information, or we can consider, that is in Brahmins, Vivaha or the marriage, there is 4 steps. That is only the 4th day, the men and women join as one. Therefore, the 5 generations are coming in the series of coming in this one. That is usually considered as the generations. And now this is total, this axis we can consider here how much axis is there. First 4 generation gives 4 axes, so that 8 angles or 8 directions. And the 5th one is Urdhva and Atho. That is, it goes to up and down. Therefore, this wheel is complete, or the golem or the sphere is complete. And which is considered as is the temple, Ashtadikpalas and Ananda and Brahma in the upwards and downwards, so that 10 dik is considered the temple around the prasada. Therefore, this is also explained in the Purusha Sukta, in the first one, Sahasra Sirsha Purusha Sahasra Sahasrabhal Sabhuvim Vishwado Vrittvadishta Dashangulam. This Dashangulam means actually this 8 directions, so that the full universe is formed. It is also same as in the earth also. Same replica or whatever we can say. This is the order of our, we can say, Srishti. That is the originating to one by one. Therefore, it is a complete process. In the some suktas is explained these all things, and so we can come to these generations. And now this is the same as another sukta, that is Savida Paschat, Savida Purastha, Savidottara, that is explaining as the sun, the main source of energy is in the upper world, lower world, and side, and not all of the places. Therefore, that is the importance of the temple as well as body. First, we have explained about the 3 types of bodies. Anyhow, all the bodies are like that. And now, what is this concern? The temple, the 7 plus 1, the 8 murtis. 8 murtis that can understand from this sketch. This is the temple complex having 5 pragaras, that is the material body, and then prasada, garbhagriha, and then the bimba, like that. And here the verse is garbhagriham siraproktam andaralam mukham tatha sukhasanam galanjaiva bahuschaiva ardhamandabam mahamandabam ukshisyat pragaram janujantino gopuram devapadasya yadhede lakshanam subham. Therefore, when we come to the temple, we will get from the head Shiras onwards, we will tell the head is the Garbhagriha and face is the Antaralam, neck is the Sukhasanam, that is Prasadam in one sense, and then hand is Ardhamandabam, stomach is Mahamandabam, upper leg to, and the knee is the Pragaram, and Pada is Gopuram. That is, I have first explained as that one. And this is considered as from the inside sun, moon, akash, vayu, agni, water, and earth. That is, head is the sun, face is the moon, neck is the akash, hand is the vayu, stomach is agni, and then pragaram is water, and padam is gopuram. Like that. Therefore, the 7 powers or 7 energies are there except in that one. And it is the last word is Shubham. That means if this is satisfied, then the Paramatma is there. Therefore, every temple must have the 7 pragaras or like that, or minimum the 3 bodies. That is main important. Therefore, that is why prasada is important. And for the others, sometimes only Chittambalam or compound wall or what maybe. Then you will get the astral body also, the 3 bodies. If it is have, therefore the temple has got also this 8 important murtis, we can say. 8 murtis consist of the temple complex. Where is the temple complex? Temple complex after all part of the earth. Therefore, earth is what also these 8 murtis. And earth is a part of the universe or Vishwam. And therefore, the Shankaracharya also reveals in his Dakshinamurti Stotram, 9th Stotram, as Bhurambhamsi starting, he is explaining that there are 8 murtis which are continuously earth, water, Agni, Vayu, Akash, moon, and sun. And if it is satisfying, that is 8 murtis. And he is also saying that is these murtis are the only murtis, nothing more. Always there will be 8 murtis in all parts and parcels of the Islam, and there is no other motive, and that is he is explaining that specifically in the 9th Stotra. And then what happens, how it is in the temple complex is we can consider. And now another Stotra, this is the first Stotra, he again reveals Vishwam Darpana Drishyamatra Nagari Tulyam. That is, he is explaining as the surface of the earth is as mirror. Then whatever here you can see, the black is the surface of the earth. Where that is starting from there is gaps in the upwards and downwards or inside the earth and to the Swarloka or Satya, up to the Satyaloka, whatever may be, we are getting the inside earth, water, Agni, and Vayu, Akash, and the lastly moon and the sun, then the Paramatma Om. And towards the upper side also, same earth, first is the earth, then the water, Agni, Vayu, air, and Akash, then moon and the sun, then gets the Paramatma, the Om. This is the order of this to some extent, even though it is said as the mirror, as Shankaracharya, but also this must be considered as the magnetic field of the Vishwam and earth, which will be having two ends of the magnetic field, so that we will get a interconnection between the two ends of the magnetic field. Therefore, we also must consider whatever may be the, as I have said, the first two ends of the axis, the Kantalooor Shala and the Kantalooor temple. Therefore, in all cases, in all the temples, we have to consider as two ends because it is interconnected as the magnetic field joins together. That is the importance of the stanza there. And lastly, he explains in the 10th stotra what is the, or how you can attain the Paramatma. That is, he is saying only three ways. That is Shravana, Manana, and the Sankirtana. That is the three logas. And by which you can proceed to Paramatma through the 7 murtis, and you will reach the 8th murti as the Paramatma. This is the order of Srishti, or whatever maybe we can say to some extent. Therefore, actually what happens, as Murlimada noted, that they residing. Therefore, this is, we have to understand how these devas are residing, or how the universe is residing. Then only we can consider how we can reside the devas in the earth or the temple complex, and then how it can be transmitted to the lively organisms in the earth. That is the order of all dealings, we can say. That is the, and now if it is the order, there must be some knowledge, way of thinking, for which is the all Vedas are executed or introduced by our forefathers. That we can consider first the first two suttas. First one is Agnimele Purohidam, Yajnasya Deva Mritujam, Odaram Rakadhatama. What is saying in that one? That is because the only eternal Paramatma, the main Agni, must be considered as Purohit, who is encouraging or initiating to do the yajna. As far as the earth is concerned, yajna is important. And therefore, that yajna must be done by somebody, must encourage. That is the Purohit or the Paramatma. Then how he can encourage the yajna? Only with the help of something, that is, to some extent, Rityuk and Hoda. You can say the Uttararani or Dakshinarani or something like that. Only if it is their work or their yajna will be continued and have the flame from that two things. That is, we know only Akash and air is there, then only the flame will happen. Therefore, here the Ritvik and Koda considered as Akash and Vayu. This is the principle for that one. And then what has says Kodaram Ratnadhagam. Therefore, to flame, what is required? Some flammable materials is required. Agni can catch fire only if there is Ratnadhagamam. That is, yajna can be conducted only by fire. That can be done only if there is Ratnadhagamam. Dhagama means Brahma, that is in the earth itself. Therefore, the yajna can be done only in earth. But if it is possible only together with the Ratnam is there. What is the Ratnam? Only the extract of water. Therefore, Ratnadhagam means the earth will be stable only if the water is there, and not only the water, but also there must be Ratnam, that is the extract of the water. That is also, as we have said about the Anna and Radas, this way of approach. Therefore, then only the generation will come or genetic will happen. The birth can take place only. Therefore, here, what happens? This Sukha reveals the first Agni, the Purohit, or the Paramatma, and the 5 Panchabhutas. And then comes this word. Where is this Agni? Where is that Paramatma? Where is the power of eternal power? Then it comes the second stanza as Agni Purva Rishivi, that second one. That second one notes that, what is that? Agni Purva Rishivi. It was not now, but also at any time it had the. Therefore, this Purva, that is in the before and now and every time. That Deva is that it is always there. It is nothing other than the sun and moon. Always the sun and moon will be having before and now and always. Therefore, this must be considered as that Agni generated by only this sun and the moon exist. Therefore, here what happens during these two suktas? The first sukta introduces the main Agni as Purohit, who is the initiating source of energy. Then the Panchabhutas. Some may question as to where from the Agni and the Panchabhutas came from. So the second sukta introduces this Agni as existing before, now and always, and names it Rishi. So that Rishi means sun, moon, and the planets. We can say the 7 planets, grahas, internally or externally. Hence, this Rishi is also sun and the moon, etc. Therefore, we can interpret the 2 suktas and introducing the Agni, the Paramatma, which contains the sun and moon mainly, and the Panchabhuta, hence the 8 Murtis. Keeping this in mind, the interpretation of the first 2 suktas as above, the rest of the suktas can be more clearly understood. That the Veda continues to explain all the parts and parcels of which are energies in the 8 Murtis. There is other than, then they will continue the what is the Ava or water, then really what is Indra, what is Vayu, etc. And coming Vedas is continuing and continuing the knowledge from that. Therefore, that is the only way of, or we can continue the knowledge only if the first 2 suktas are explained like this. That is why I am explaining, or in my mind it is came that type of explanation for this area of temple complexes, because in all text is giving like that. For the presiding, we want all these 8 Murtis. That is important thing. This is the way to get the knowledge from the Vedas. That is the importance of the KANTALOOR Shala also. That is why I have said we have to be the temple. If the temple exists, and to maintain the temple or the power of the temple to be existed, only if the Shala must exist. Otherwise, it won't come. Therefore, Shala is important for the knowledge city and then for the application for the total world or the universe to stand or reside. Necessary the temple as well as the knowledge giving areas as the Vedas. And Shala is also said as the Vedas. Therefore, this is the first session I wanted to clear, and then we can come to how this principle of the knowledge from the universe, power, universal power, the 8 murtis can be taken and installed in all devas in the temples. Then we will come to some extent I will explain about that the Pradishta approaches, that is how the consecration of the Bimba or the idol or the Deva should perform also to some extent through the Vedas, some Vedas also, so Veda Suktas also. That I can explain the next session. And now I'm very much thankful to the Kantalooor Shala and all the people who is hearing this one. I don't know whether this will be more, you will getting some knowledge or not. If you are getting some knowledge, that is good. And it is due to my forefathers and my gurus. And thank you to all of you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the wonderful presentation. And it is time now for discussions. And let me invite our chair to lead the session. Professor Murli Madhavan, sir.
Yes. Actually, what we thought of organizing such a lecture, when we have discussed this matter, what we had in our mind that well presented by our Krishnan Namboodiripad. He knows things very well, that how the Kantalooor Shala and how the Kantalooor temple, these are so closely associated, and it is a university actually working with the central team of Kantalooor temple. So this Kantalooor temple is very peculiar, and how he has see, I was very much surprised to hear the way in which he presented the Dakshinamurti Stotram. It is a very clever presentation. That Vishwam Darpana Drishyamana Nagari Tulyam Nijandargadam. That line, he explained how beautifully, how this how he has connected this with the present context in the temple and also with the Shala. So the entire world is being reflected as a reflection you see in the mirror. You see that the diagram you have seen in the round, where it starts from 1 to 7 to outside and 1 to 7 to inside. This is how it reflects. So this reflection, the total reflection, how the Kantalooor Shala and Kantalooor temple, the Kantalooor temple is the main thing which is inside, and it can be well reflected as its parts of knowledge, of different types of knowledge, as Kantalooor Shala outside. So this has been put very beautifully in a nutshell, and that was wonderful. I have one doubt. Actually, there are several people to participate in the discussion. I am curious enough to know, in Purusha Sukta, sir, you have explained Sahasra Shirsha Purushaha, Sahasraksha Sahasrabhat, Sabhumim Vishwadaspritva Apyatishtat Dasha Angulam. What is the relevance of Dasha Angulam? I think that there is some specific purpose is to be served by that, especially with the Dasha. So Dasha Angulam, 10 angulams. So why this 10 is so specifically mentioned, that I want to know. And also, you have very cleverly related the 7 prakaras to 7 what we call energies. That's also very scientific. And see, all our rishis, whatever they have put forth the different shastric principles, all these are endowed, fully endowed with logic. Without logic, it never works. That's why our ancestors say, without knowing Tarka Shastra, you cannot study anything. The Tarka Shastra is the pivot of all these systems of learning. So this is you have given a very beautiful illustration you have given as far as the 7 prakaras of the temple and the 7 energies. So these 2 things, if you can explain a little more, that will be nice for the others also. Anyway, thanks to Brahmasree Kanippayyur Krishnan Namboodiripad for his wonderful presentation. We are anxiously waiting for the next presentation, which he will be talking much about Kantalooor Shala. He has given only a platform now. How Kantalooor Shala and Kantalooor Temple, these are just like a Bimba and Pratibimba. So Vishwam Darpana Drishyamana, this verse he has quoted and he explained in such a way that in the next course of lecture, we automatically presume that he is going to explain further in this direction. So with these observations, I beg to remain. Okay. Now, if others can join in the discussion, and finally he can, I think he can give some answers or some clarification to our doubts.
Vishwam Darpana Sadrisham, once more, Vishadikarodu, sir.
Vishwam Darpana Drishyamana Nagari Tulyam Nijantargadam Mayaya Behirivodbhudam Yatha Nidraya Yas Sakshal Kurute Prabodha Samaye Swatmanameva Advayam Tasmai Sri Gurumurtaye Nama Idam Dakshinamurtaye. Sri Dakshinamurtaye. That is the complete verse. So this verse, how this outer world and inner world, it reflects. He has given with that diagram, and he has shown how outwardly you go the 7 prakaras and coming inside the 7 prakaras, and how these has corresponding to the entire stotra of that Dakshinamurti stotra. He well explained that.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, okay. Next
Any
session.
other questions?
I am waiting for next session.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me now, it is a time now to present the citation to our most distinguished guest. Let me now invite Lieutenant Dr. Lisa Sia, the Assistant Professor of Sri Shankara University of Sanskrit Kaladi, to present the citation to our Chief Guest, Brahmasree Kanippayyur Krishnan Namboodiripad. Over to Dr. Lisa.
Good afternoon to all. With great honor and respect, Kantalooor Shala highly commends Brahmasree Kanippayyur Krishnan Namboodiripad for his outstanding contributions and exemplary work in Vastuvidya as a scholar, writer, teacher, guide, and philosopher. Flow of air energy in buildings. Legend has it that Kanippayyur Mana has been blessed by the sage Parashurama, one of the Dasavataras of Lord Mahavishnu and a great architect himself, to be at the mantle of the first family of Vastu in the world. Into that family were born on great men of erudition and vision. One such person is Brahmasree Kanippayyur Krishnan Namboodiripad. He was born on 26 March 1940 to Brahmasree Krishnan Namboodiripad and Devagi Antarchanam. He was the grandson of that dawn of Vastu, Brahmasree Kanippayyur Shankaran Namboodiripad. Shankaran Namboodiripad was a great scholar par excellence in the Vedas, astrology, etc. His greatest contribution to the contemporary society are the translations and commentaries that he had made on the various Vedas, Upanishads, and Vedic rituals, which serves as a primary reference material even in the present generation. And Krishnan Namboodiripad has proved that he is in no way inferior to his grandson. In fact, considering what he has achieved, we can say that he is a legend in his own lifetime. Dissemination of knowledge has been a continuing tradition in the Kanippayyur family, and Krishnan Namboodiripad has pursued this practice in right earnest. Panchanga Press and Book Depot, founded by his grandfather, Kanippayyur Shankaran Namboodiripad, over 90 years ago, has been publishing books on the various streams of traditional Indian knowledge and spirituality at affordable prices. Krishnan Namboodiripad himself has authored several books on Vastu Shastra. Presently, he is the Dean of Vastuvidya Gurukulam, Department of Culture, Government of Kerala, Sthapatya Dean, Maharshi Mahesh Yogi Vedic University, Netherlands, Chairman Vastuvidya Pradishtanam, Kozhikode, and Chairman Vastu Academy, Trivandrum. He was honored by a degree Shilpa Shastra Tilaka in 1984 by Kerala Astrological Research Foundation for his services to Vastu Shastra. He received the Acharya Puraskaram 2007 from the Tantra Vidyapeetham, Alwa, Kerala. Acharya Ratna in 2001, Akshay Award in 1997, Vijayasree Puraskaram by Yogakshema Sabha in 2003, Devasree Award by Travancore Devaswam Board in 2004, Excellence Award in 2006-07, and Mallur Puraskaram 2014-15, UNESCO Award in 2015. This citation is present to Brahmasree Kanippayyur Krishnan Namboodiripad on Friday, the 28th May 2022 at Tirunelveli, Kerala, signed by Professor P.C. Murali Madhavan, Director-in-Chief. Thank you all.
Thank you, Lieutenant Elisha. Thank you.
Thank you.
The citation will be sent to you directly to the.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. We will have our next lecture on,
Okay. Yes.
on
I will try to-
11th June. 11th June, Saturday.
Yeah.
And
So very kind of you, sir, that your very presence itself is a high, something to be counted very high. So we are anxiously waiting for the next talk where you talk much about Kantalooor Shala. Thank you. Thank you once more.
with the permission of the chair, let me close the session.
Thank you.